This is Dave with Dave's TR4A, back with another, I think our final pre-trip video for our drive up Pikes Peak and our travels out west this summer. We had our last meeting, pre-trip meeting, Sunday, which was yesterday, and Bob Pollitt, who's the leader of our bucket list. Actually, it's his bucket list item that we're kind of hanging on here behind. But one of the things he did at the meeting yesterday was he handed out these really cool transfer stickers that says Pikes Peak 2023. And we're going to, everybody got one. I even have a spare one here that I'm going to be giving out to my friend Cliff Hansen, who's in New Mexico, which is going to be our last stop before we head north off of I-40 from Albuquerque. So yeah, yesterday we just kind of went over who's bringing what spare parts and everything, although I'm the only TR4A that's going to be driving cross country. Cliff has a TR4A and he's going to be, he's in Albuquerque, so he's going to be driving up to Manitou Springs, which is where our hotel is, with me and Colleen. So he's picked a kind of a cool route that's not freeways, that goes from Albuquerque, New Mexico up to our hotel in Manitou Springs. He says it's going to be a great ride. We're going to love it, so we're looking forward to that. After driving through Texas and all that, it's going to be kind of a boring drive, I guess. But yeah, we're just taking our time going out there. As I said, we're going to be maybe going about 300 or so miles a day, depending on how we feel and road conditions and all that. So we just have to be out there by the 5th of June, which is our first hotel reservation. So, or our hotel reservation in Manitou Springs, I should say. So, yeah, everybody's getting real anxious to get started. The weather should be okay, I would think. It's been cold here in Cincinnati. I think we're like 20 degrees below our normal temperature. Went to a big car show yesterday up in Middletown, which is kind of between, obviously, the middle between Cincinnati and Dayton. And it was cloudy and it didn't rain, but it looked like it was going to at any moment. I think it sprinkled just a little bit on the way back, but my new windshield wiper motor worked awesome. I'm so freaking glad I did that. So anyway, yeah, everybody's as I said, is real excited to go. There's going to be a total of 9 cars all together as we finally meet up in Manitou Springs. Here's the deal. You can't just go to Pikes Peak and drive up the mountain. I guess you could in past times, but since they've basically enlarged the visitor center up at the summit, which means they've reduced the amount of parking, as I've probably said before, in the parking lot at the summit. So what they do is you basically have to buy 2 things. You have to buy the pass, obviously, at the gate to go up the mountain, and that's $15 per car. And the other issue is you have to buy a timed entrance ticket, and which is all done online, by the way. You can't just go get it at the gate. That has to all be, you have to basically reserve your time slot. So what you do is you go to their website, and first of all you have to set up an account, which is not a big deal. But then you have to buy a timed entry pass. So they're $2 and it's non-refundable, which, you know, is okay. But so what we did is we picked the first time slot is 8 to 10 in the morning. So we picked 8 to 10 for 3 days in a row, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. So we figure we'll have it, hopefully one of those days is going to be better weather, and we'll have a better idea of, obviously, the weather once we get there. But that way, you know, we're not going to be going up there in really crappy weather unless we can help it. But the plan is to try to optimize our time slot availability so we can have an enjoyable ascent up the mountain. Besides that, we're going to also try to go up Mount Evans, which is another drivable summit. I think it's right around 14,000 feet also. We're also looking at maybe going to Aspen from Colorado Springs, which will allow us to drive over the Continental Divide. That'll be like an all-day trip, though, but still should be fun. And we also want to go see the Red Rock Theater and the Garden of the Gods. So there's a lot we're going to try to do in 3 or 4 days that we're there. So anyway, I just wanted to kind of let you guys know that we're getting real close. As I said, one of the other things we talked about in our meeting was what spares everybody's bringing. So I'm kind of left to my own devices, and as far as specific car parts are available, that all need to have it available. And usually I'll have like a spare set of plugs, a fan belt. I got a rebuilt fuel pump. Well, I use the Roadster Factory rebuild kit on the one that's in the car and the one that I have as a spare. And those have a diaphragm that's more resistant to the ethanol fuels. So I have the fuel pump. I have a 1-2-3 distributor from the Netherlands, which has basically served me very, very well. But I have a rotor and a cap for that. I think I might get a water pump just to have it. I also have a spare alternator. I have a Delco 7100 series, I think it is. It's a 60 amp alternator, and it's worked fine too. But I'm just going to bring a spare just so I have that, and of course tools, hand tools and stuff like that. Since we're going to be going on an extended drive, I'm going to bring about 4 quarts of 2050 weight brad pen, a quart of MT90 for the overdrive transmission, although it's not leaking, but I just want to have it. And I'm also going to bring a bottle of .5 hydraulic fluid, although that I could probably get just about anywhere, but I just want to have it with me. And I think that's about it. I don't have a spare because I have the Koenig 16-inch wheels that won't fit, but I do have an air compressor and a tire plug kit that I've never had to use yet, but it's basically battery operated, so it just plugs into the cigarette lighter in the car. Although I did use that once to pump up a tire when we went to Stowe, Vermont a couple of years ago. So, I mean, it was just low. It wasn't leaking or anything. So anyway, that's it for now. I'll keep you guys posted as we get going. I'm gonna try to see if I can post things on the road as we go from place to place. But I imagine there's not going to be a whole lot of interesting things to see driving on I-40, except I guess the back end of a semi truck or something. But although my wife Colleen said if we see a sign ahead for a giant ball of string, we're stopping. So. Anyway, thanks again for watching, and look forward to posting updates on the trip as we go. So thanks again. That's it for now. Please like and subscribe.